An American businessman in Milan walked into a cafe and ordered a venti caramel macchiato with oat milk and extra whipped cream. The barista blinked twice and said, "Un café?" holding up a tiny espresso cup. The man chuckled. No, I need a real coffee, not this espresso shot. Like, a big one." The barista, patient but visibly exhausted, explained that in Italy coffee is espresso, short, strong, and meant to be enjoyed quickly, not gulped from a plastic bucket. The man sighed, muttering, "No wonder your economy's slow, everyone's just sipping these micro-coffees." He sat down, tried the espresso, and immediately added 6 sugar packets. "Okay," he said after a sip, "now it's almost Starbucks." A couple from Texas visiting Norway entered a grocery store and froze. Everything was quiet, neatly stacked, no loud music, no massive sales signs, no freezers full of pizza rolls. The woman whispered, "Where's the cereal aisle?" The clerk pointed to a small shelf with 5 modest boxes. "Where are the Lucky Charms? The Pop-Tarts? The 20 flavors of Doritos?" The clerk smiled awkwardly. "We have bread, oats, cheese." The man looked genuinely distressed. "This place is like a survival bunker." They left with 1 loaf of rye bread and told everyone back home how Norwegian stores are like Whole Foods if it went out of business. An American student studying abroad in Finland discovered that the dorm had no air conditioning. "This is insane," she complained to her Finnish roommate. "In the States, this would be a lawsuit." The roommate calmly replied, "It's October. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Open a window." But she refused. "Then bugs might come in. You people don't even care about indoor climate control." By December, when the radiator heat kicked in, she declared it was toxic heat, and started sleeping with ice packs. When she went home, she posted online, "Europeans have no concept of temperature regulation." Tragic. In Osaka, an American couple sat at a sushi counter. When the chef served a small piece of fresh uni, sea urchin, the husband frowned. "Excuse me," he said, "is this cooked?" The chef shook his head gently. "No, fresh." The wife leaned in, horrified. "Raw seafood? Isn't that illegal?" The chef smiled politely, but the husband whispered, "Maybe they can't afford ovens." He then asked for ketchup or soy sauce, whichever's closest to BBQ. An American tourist in Vienna walked through the Kunsthistorisches Museum, staring at Rembrandts and Rubens. After 10 minutes, he sighed loudly. "Where are the interactive screens? The videos? The part where you learn something?" A German visitor nearby explained, "You are learning by looking." The American scoffed, "No, I mean, where's the part with VR headsets or the quiz at the end?" When told that art museums in Europe are mostly for quiet observation, he muttered, "That's why nobody learns anything here." At a thermal bath in Budapest, an American woman entered in a full swimsuit, swimming cap, and flip-flops, clutching her phone in a waterproof case. When she saw everyone else relaxing quietly in mineral pools, some topless, some just chatting softly, she froze. "This isn't appropriate," she hissed to the receptionist. "People are just naked." The receptionist smiled. "It's a spa, madam. It's normal here." "But how is that sanitary?" she demanded. "Don't you have, like, a rulebook? In America, we have regulations." When she saw a group of older men playing chess deep in steaming water, she gasped. "Do you allow gambling in the nude?" Later, she posted a 2-star review. "Good water, but the vibe was highly unprofessional." An American student studying in Copenhagen entered the public library and was shocked. There were no metal detectors. No security guards. No one asked for ID. People just walked in, reading, studying, talking quietly. He leaned toward a librarian and whispered, "So, like, anyone can just come in?" "Yes," she said, smiling. "But what if someone steals the books?" "We trust people." The student blinked, utterly confused. "You trust strangers? That's wild." A few weeks later, he returned home for the holidays and told his friends, "Europe is basically a giant social experiment. Nobody locks anything, and somehow it doesn't collapse. It's terrifying and impressive." An American family on safari in Kenya was promised a once-in-a-lifetime wildlife experience. After 4 hours without seeing a lion, the father grew impatient. "Can you, call them?" he asked the guide. "Maybe shake a food bag or something?" The guide smiled politely. "This is not a zoo, sir." "Well, it kind of is, right?" the man continued. "I paid for lions. My kids are getting bored." The guide tried to explain the difference between wild animals and theme parks, but the man interrupted. "In Florida, we see lions in 15 minutes, tops. This needs better management." When they finally spotted one napping in the distance, the father muttered, "Honestly, that's too far away for a good photo. Can you drive closer, right up to it?" At a hotel in Munich, an American businessman walked into the breakfast buffet expecting pancakes and bacon. Instead, he found sliced meats, cheeses, boiled eggs, and pretzels. He frowned. "Is this lunch?" The staff explained, "This is Frühstück, traditional German breakfast." He looked suspiciously at a tray of pickles. "People eat cucumbers in the morning here? That's messed up." He asked for syrup. The waitress stared. "For what?" He sighed and whispered to his colleague, "No wonder these people never smile. They start their day with cold ham." The next morning, he brought his own cereal from a suitcase, for survival. An American wellness influencer rented a cottage in rural Provence to connect with authentic French living. On day 1, she asked the local grocer if they sold protein powder. He stared blankly. "Protein? Like gym stuff?" He shrugged. "We have cheese." She later asked her neighbor where the nearest yoga studio was. The woman laughed kindly. "We walk. We work. That is exercise." Frustrated, she filmed herself complaining, "It's so hard to stay healthy here. People just eat bread and wine all day. No smoothies, no kombucha. I don't know how they're still alive." That clip went viral in France. The comments were filled with laughing emojis and the word baguette. In Tokyo, an American teenager on exchange entered the subway and started talking loudly on FaceTime. Everyone in the car went silent. A man gently tapped his shoulder and said, "Please, quiet." The teenager rolled his eyes. "Bro, it's just a call." The man bowed slightly and walked away. When the boy got off, he complained to his host family, "Everyone's so uptight here. You can't even talk on the train. It's like a funeral." The host father smiled. "It is respect." He later posted on social media, "Japan is weirdly obsessed with silence. Someone needs to teach them about vibes." An American couple visiting Seville tried to go shopping at 2:30 p.m. Every store was closed. The husband knocked on a locked door and muttered, "What kind of business closes in the middle of the day? Don't they want money?" A local sitting nearby said, "It's siesta. People rest." The wife frowned. "In the afternoon? Isn't that, lazy?" The man smiled. "We work to live, not live to work." Later that night, as they walked past crowded plazas full of laughing families, the husband whispered, "Why are they all out so late? Don't they have jobs?" He didn't realize they had just finished enjoying life, something he hadn't scheduled in years. An American tourist missed his 10:03 train from Zurich by 30 seconds. He went to the ticket office, angry. "Your schedule's wrong. The train left early." The clerk replied, "No, sir, it left at 10:03 exactly." "That's the problem," he said. "Why not 10:05? That's a normal time." The clerk raised an eyebrow. "Because it is 10:03 on the schedule." The man sighed, muttering, "This country takes punctuality too seriously. You people need to relax." The next train arrived, at 10:33 sharp. He missed that one too while explaining American freedom to a confused commuter. An American tourist in Marrakesh walked through the souk, overwhelmed by smells, colors, and shouting merchants. He stopped at a spice stall and asked, "How much for this jar?" The seller smiled. 80 dirhams. The man frowned. "That's what, in real money?" The merchant smiled tighter. "It is real money, sir." When the man tried to pay with a $50 bill, the vendor said he couldn't accept it. Outraged, the man shouted, "This is the US dollar. The most trusted currency in the world." The vendor shrugged. "Not in my shop." In a cafe in Stockholm, an American man bought coffee and noticed the cashier left the till open while chatting with a coworker. He leaned in and whispered, "Aren't you worried someone might steal?" She smiled. "Why would they?" He shook his head. "Because people steal. It's what people do." She shrugged. "Not here." Later, he went back to his hotel and couldn't stop talking about it. They just trust everyone. Like, no cameras, no locks, nothing. It's unsettling. I don't know how this country still exists. An American tourist stood at a zebra crossing in Rome and gasped as cars whizzed by. "Don't they stop?" he yelled. A local beside him shrugged. "They slow down, maybe." He waited 5 minutes before shouting, "In the US, they'd get sued for this." The local grinned. "Then don't get hit." When he finally crossed safely, he raised his arms triumphantly. "I've conquered Italy." In Istanbul, an American businessman refused the small glass of tea offered after every meal. "I don't drink tea," he said. The waiter smiled. "But this is Turkish hospitality. I don't need it. I already paid." The waiter simply nodded. Tea is not about payment. It is about friendship. The man paused, then reluctantly sipped it. Later, he told his wife, "It's weird. The tea didn't cost anything, but it meant something. I think I get it now." After a year of living abroad, an American expat in Portugal sat at a cafe and watched people linger for hours over tiny coffees. No one was rushing. No one was working on laptops. He remembered how, back home, every minute had to be productive. Now, he just sat. Quiet. Content. When a tourist walked by and shouted, "Why's everyone so slow here?" he smiled and whispered to himself, "They're not slow. We're just too fast."